Sorry, I'm cutting in there. I should let you speak.
No.
But going back to nerves, I'm like, when I'm nervous, I tend to really get ahead of the beat. But you just sound totally and utterly relaxed on that. I mean, like you say, you weren't nervous anyway. But I think for a lot of people...
Nervous. Everyone gets nervous. Yeah, I don't know.
But you always manage to tuck in behind the beat, you know, always. And we do with that amazing feel, you know, it's kind of as late as you dare sort of thing, you know, and that's, I think that's
Maybe.
part of your
I'm trying to get more up on it.
Really?
Actually. Yeah, because I just want to be right in the center. And if I hear something back and it's like, ooh, that's a little, you know, then
Really?
I'm kind of like, oh, I must have been like, you know, not concentrating on the time, because that's kind of what it's about. Really, is just concentrating on the middle of the beat and like playing for the time. Like, don't think about what you want to play as much as like how you can make something lay in the time. Like play rhythm.
Yes.
You know, I got a chance to take a long subway ride back from a studio in Brooklyn with Tootie Heath. We did a recording out there with Jed Patton. And his wife Kasui's a singer, David Wong. So Tootie and I took the train back, and he was telling me lots of great stories. But I don't know. I asked him about something about grooving or something like that. Just was asking him about like different records he was on or something. I mean, I'm not usually not that much of a nerd, but you know, he was like really open to talk, and I just wanted to ask him about certain sessions, and came up just started talking about grooving and stuff. And he said, "Well, I'll never forget something that my brother Percy told me a long time ago." I was like, wow, this is great. I'm getting nuggets from Percy from, you know, his baby brother. But it was like, he said, you know, Percy said, if you're playing and it's grooving and feels good, make sure you enjoy it, because it's not gonna last. Somebody's gonna start feeling good and then do something to mess it up.
Yeah.
And it was really, and he kind of said it in this thing of like, well, it's kind of like the larger picture of this is why humans can't have nice things. You know, we can have them for a second, but as soon as you're aware that, oh, this is really grooving, then you get, you know, it's this kind of thing about if you can really selflessly play in service to the rhythm, which is a force greater than I'm reading into it, you know, then you have a chance of sustaining it and actually tapping into it, where it becomes like something that just takes you, and you kind of play for that feeling as a priority and an objective, you know. And it was almost like a cautionary tale. It's like someone's going to come along and mess it up. It's almost like, you know, it's this biblical story of, you know, whatever, Adam and Eve, you know, they had it. They were in paradise and they just messed it up, you know. So as humans is what we do.
Does he kind of mean that someone's just going to just blow their bags a bit too quick? Or
it's something, it's just, no, I think it's just like, it's just, I think it's a parable in a way. I take it as a parable, but because it's like the idea is to strive for something to be as close to perfection as possible. But then as you near perfection, if you say, oh my God, it's almost perfect, of course you're going to blow it, because the self-consciousness of that or the awareness of it, all of a sudden it snaps the thing that makes it connected to that. So it's like the static thing. So you have to keep the static out. If you can focus on playing for the time, you're going to be distracted, and they'll be like, it's coming in a little fuzzy. Okay, now the picture's back, or the wave is back. So that's what it is. Just be aware of that being the priority in playing music. If you can get out of like, what I want to do that's clever, what I want to do that shows that I'm even grooving, then it's self-conscious. You know, I don't. That's how I take it. It's like, absolutely. It's really the thing. Once you start to think about it, it's already overtaken you. Sure. And then you're kind of, there's the ego thing of like, well, check me out, I'm grooving, I'm selfless, I'm playing for the music. Then it's our, you know, then you've blown it again.
So have you had like a group discussion with Larry and Bill about this? I mean, because it seems to be
about time, or
no, about exactly what you're talking about, like a unified goal, because you all have the same. It feels to me that you have the same outlook. That it's all like no one's going to suddenly do something completely away from the music. You know, no one's going to go wild. It's well, I mean, you do sometimes, but it's always for the music, and that's a very rare bird indeed.
We've never discussed it.
Really?
I mean, outright, like in the context of evaluating what we did last night as opposed to what our standard and our object. We never had anything, you know, we might say that was a rough gig for sound, or I was, you know, sorry, I had some moments of lapse. I mean, everyone will admit to like, you know, like those things, but we never had a group discussion of, okay, guys, what are we trying to, you know, write down what we're trying. It's never been that. I think we started playing, and then kind of people said, why you guys sound like a group? And we're like, oh, cool. I guess that's the point. And and then we got a chance to make a recording, and that kind of said, okay, we're out there a little bit as a group. We got a chance to do something, and we just revisited it over the years. But everyone, you know, Larry got other gigs, Bill got other gigs, I got gigs. We were kind of, we'd come together when we could. And it wasn't like anyone's main project. And that's why we don't really have a name for our group, and no one's ever claimed actual. And we did get a chance to record under Larry's name for Warner Brothers, which was the biggest, you know, highest profile thing. And maybe for the good of the longevity of the group, that didn't last that long. Like Larry made a record with us that wasn't just trio, we were on it, and then he had guests, and it was the 90s, so he had that big budget label. He got Maceo Parker. And
that's Whatever It Takes, right?
Yeah, so
that's a great record.
It wasn't a trio record, but we were involved in it, and so when we went out and played, it was as a Larry Goldings trio for a while, and then that kind of, you know, we went back to playing at Smalls, and then I think I got a gig, or I got a chance to do a recording for Crisscross, and it was my record. I called those guys, so it said Peter Bernstein Trio, but it's like, it was our group.
Right.
It was just my date in that I, you know, called the tunes and decided what to play and whatever. But
so was that?
It was kind of just, and then even before that, Bill Stewart got a gig that was filmed at the Modern Drum. And most drummers know our group because of that video. That really was widely disseminated as a VHS tape or something like that. On the Modern Drummer Festival, where we played a set. And that was maybe 97
That's with
or
Jive
something.
Coffee on it? That one?
We were playing all those tunes way back then. That's when we,
Yeah.
And I did a video for Mel Bay. That was kind of my, but it was no one, it's like, if you got the gig, it was your group. And then we kind of just, after a while, now that we're getting a chance to tour a little bit, we said, well, really no one's the leader. Let's just, you know, try to push that it's a cooperative.
Yeah, that's great.
It seems to work. But to your original question about any kind of, you know, mission statement or mandate that we're trying, like, what are we trying to do out there? What are we trying to go for? It was never anything like that. Bring in a song.
You never spoke about it. It just happened.
Bring in a song. If everybody likes to play it, cool. If one guy doesn't really like to play it, chuck it. You know, it's not worth it. If one guy's, you know, whether it's a standard or, I mean, people are supportive of each other's tunes. We all like each other's writing, I think, so it's supportive.
I guess, you know, part of the reason I'm asking is because classically a lot of the organ bands are pretty wild, you know, like, you know, really, really going for it. You know, some of the...
Well, organ tradition comes from big bands. That's where the organ, I think, you know, really proliferated, because it was too expensive to have big bands on the road. So these places would get an organ, and that's how that, I think, found its niche, because that was doing that, you know, creating that kind of excitement, that kind of volume electrically, you know, and it became its own thing with its own aesthetic. Of course, there was the connection to the church music, gospel music, and you know, so it didn't just come out of big bands, but I think that was part of the, you know.
But it feels like it just feels like there's this very sort of rich scene that's come along. Obviously, with Wes Montgomery and the dynamic new sound.
Of course,
Melvin Rhyne, which of course you recorded.
Yeah, I got to play with
many times.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that to me seemed to be the first time that the organ came in, and it wasn't all about going absolutely nuts and pulling.
And that's who Larry loved. As much as he loved Jimmy Smith, he loved Melvin Rhyne, and he loved Larry Young, who wasn't a big stops. You know, Larry. You know, Young didn't play the. You know, he was more left-hand bass and hip. You know, just vocabulary was pushing it forward, but he actually didn't use as many sounds as even someone as contemporary as someone like Dr. Lonnie, who came along after. Just the orchestra concept of.
There's so much to talk about. But, maybe we should play another tune.
If you want,
we've kind of whizzed past that bit a bit. But
okay.
I wondered if you fancy playing "How Deep Is the Ocean."
All right, sure.
Just
you know, how you like to do it.
Well, exactly how you did it on Live at Town Hall Volume
And I
2.
don't remember exactly. I know we played it in another key at first, but what was the key? Remember? Maybe G or E minor, G.
I thought we settled on C minor actually, but
Yes, we did it on C minor, but there was a chorus out front. We don't have to. We can just start right on C minor.
okay, all right, thanks.
But yeah, whatever you want, man. You want to play? How do you want to do it? It's faster or slower than the last one we played, which was where it was a while ago already. So
Maybe a bit slower, do you know?
okay,
or whatever you want.
yeah. All right.
I'll go on. You bring it in.
Okay. All right. Nice, man. Nice.
I'm not sure why I ended on C minor.
I don't know. It's cool. It was cool. You were A flat minor, and then you could have brought it into to the major, but you went to the minor. I like it.
I did.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm making it up as I'm going along.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.